Hey, what's up, everybody, man? It's the one and only Dwayne Nix. You guys are tuned into a new episode of the DK Fix. And yeah, this will be my first episode of 2020. I know, I've been away. It happens, man. I'm sorry. But I'm back. And I'm back with some great news and some big stuff to talk about. But before we get into that, it is Memorial Day weekend. So everybody out there in the world, whether you're in America, Japan, wherever, anywhere in the world, hope you guys are having a good weekend. I know it's tough right now dealing with the whole coronavirus. Make sure you guys are doing what you're supposed to do. 6 feet away from people, even though Jerron is not really 6 feet away from me. And, wash your hands, all that good stuff like that. But we want to make sure everybody is having the best 2020 as they possibly can. I know it's been a bad year. We've had some really, really sad losses. But like I said, man, this is my first video of 2020. I haven't really been inspired to do anything until recently because some big news popped up. Oh, before I even get to that big news, man, to the right of me, as always, JSF is in the building, man. How's everything going with you, boss?
I'm here, man. I'm chilling.
Always here, man. We got my boy Rashad in the back, too. He's going to be in and out of the video. You see the hand right there? That's my guy. Yeah, he's here. But the big news we're going to talk about, the reason why I was so inspired to make a video. Well, for one, my boy Izzy the Gamer, he's been back in the back in the video development himself, and he's been putting out content. So salute to him. Go subscribe to his channel and check out the video I did with him on the PS5 and the Xbox X series. But a big breaking news happened a couple days ago with Zack Snyder. Now, before I even get into that news, basically this whole video is going to be about Justice League. Me and JSF, we're big fans of Justice League, whether it be the movie, whether it be the video games, comic books. We're just big DC guys. And
Justice and all that.
All that, yeah. So about 3 years ago, I want to say it was 3 years ago, man, in November. Well, even before that. Let's go way before that. So back in like 2013, there was a movie called Man of Steel that came out. That was directed by Zack Snyder. Me and JSF, we actually went to the movie theaters ourselves to go watch it.
It's a fact.
It was a fact, and it was a good movie. Was it the best Superman movie? Probably not. I mean, it depends how you feel. For me, I enjoyed it. It was a little bit long, but that's a Zack Snyder film. It's not a Zack Snyder film if it's short. You watch Watchmen. That movie's long. Even the extended version is super long.
3-hour movie with an extended cut.
Too much, crazy. So that was about 5-6 years ago, and then BVS came out, Batman vs Superman. It was the first time we got to see Ben Affleck as Batman. I went to go see that with my boy Rashad in the back, and we enjoyed the movie. Was it great? No. Was it the best? No. It was my favorite version of Batman. I love Ben Affleck's Batman.
I still think Ben Affleck is the best Batman.
It's the best Batman. Hands down.
I'm squaring up for that opinion.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with it too because I feel like it was exactly how I wanted my Batman to be.
All the time.
Critically, it got kind of panned. It wasn't that great of a movie. Then the extended version came out on Blu-ray, and I had bought that one, and I actually enjoyed the extended version way more. It added more.
The extended filled in a lot.
It filled in a lot of holes,
that movie needed to be 3 hours.
It needed to be 3 hours.
It needed to be longer than it was.
Yeah.
The extended cut makes a lot of shit make sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's what it is with most movies. I mean, anytime you get a movie that is 2 hours, you really can't tell a story. I mean, you can tell a story in 2 hours, but depending on what kind of director you have and how dynamic they want to be, it's kind of hard to tell a certain story in 2 hours. That's why Endgame was 3 hours long because you couldn't make that a 2 hour. Yeah, you needed. I mean, really, it could have been Infinity War and Endgame both could have been 3 hours each because you could have even told more story than Infinity War, especially when you look at the back, behind the scenes stuff and like that. But then after BVS came out with the extended version, even though the fans kind of panned it, not the fans, more the critics. The fans can there's always this tight net fans for DC movies, man. 100%. Whatever it is,
I'm gonna show up to the theaters. You gonna show up to the theaters.
So I want to say in 2017, I went to Comic-Con, and the biggest thing about Comic-Con was, hey, listen, the Justice League movie is gonna come out, and I remember they had the first trailer for the Justice League movie. It was like the Comic-Con version of it, and I remember watching it. I remember I had it on my phone, but I got home, I ran home. I was like, I gotta watch this on a big screen. I don't want to watch this on the phone. I can barely hear it. I'm at Comic-Con. I get to my house. I get a chance to watch the trailer. And I'm like, yo, this is what I want to see. The Flash. You got Cyborg. We got Aquaman. I'm like, oh, this looks great. It looks good. But you can tell it was early. It wasn't like the movie itself. It was an early stage. It was only shot for Comic-Con, but they were smart though too because they knew it was going to leak. Unlike the Deadpool thing, they didn't let Deadpool just leak out. They said, forget it, we're going to do this, but we're also going to just give it to the world so you guys can all see what we're talking about doing. And I remember seeing it, and I had a pretty cool vibe off it. Like, hey man, I can't wait to watch this movie. How did you feel about when you first saw the trailer?
No, I felt the same way. I loved it.
Yeah.
And you could, like you said, a lot of it was early footage. And when they shoot those certain scenes where it's the Flash meeting Batman or Batman going to find Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yo, I heard you talk to Fish.
Yeah.
Some of those scenes end up in a full movie, and the full theatrical cut.
Right.
They end up a little different. But I loved it though because it set kind of a tone early.
Yeah.
Or at least you know what to expect. You know what
to expect.
It was like, okay, we see a little bit of the Flash's personality. We see a little bit of Batman's personality. Mm-hmm. We see a little bit of Aquaman, which is different because Aquaman is that character.
He's all in Aquaman's character in just in like live action films or whatever has always been made fun of. And because he could talk to fish or whatever. He's always been a joke. Exactly, 100%. He always was. So it's like, you know, seeing him and seeing Jason Momoa be a badass version of him. It's like, oh man, I'm into this. You know what I'm saying? And I think that everybody was excited about it, right? We were all excited. We're like, hey, let's see what we could do. Like, we had heard Zack Snyder had like a 3. I think this is supposed to be Justice League Part 1. It was supposed to be like I think it was a 3-story arc.
It was a 3, yeah. Or was I think it was supposed to be 3 parts. 3 parts,
initially. Yeah. It was supposed to be Justice League 1, then the next year it's supposed to be Justice League 2, and then like end it with maybe like Justice League Apocalypse or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
in the ballpark.
Yeah, something like that. The only reason why I say Apocalypse, I just watched the animated series of it. So and that was pretty good.
That was good too.
So about a few months into 2017, and I'm sorry, I saw that Justice League trailer in 2016, not 2017. 2017 is when the movie came out. So a couple months into 2017, they were starting to shoot the movie. They did some, principal photography on it and whatnot. And then a tragedy struck the Snyder family. I think his daughter had passed away from suicide. So he kind of took himself out of not wanting to be involved in it anymore. So Warner Brothers was like, listen, we still want to go ahead and we still want to shoot this movie. We still want to, have this movie come out in 2017 at this timeline. And right then and there, I think that was just too much. Like if a man just lost someone personal, someone so close to him in his life, give him his space, let him grieve, and then come later with the movie. But listen, we're in entertainment business, the dog eat dog world.
$1 billion company. They're gonna say, hey, we understand. You can take all the time off you want,
but we're gonna bring somebody else.
Not taking no time off.
Yeah. And with that being said, is they decided to bring in Josh Whedon. Now I'm not, and before I even go in on that, I'm gonna. People who don't know Josh Whedon, I mean, if you're watching this video, you should kind of know who he is. But if you don't know, Josh Whedon is known. He's done a lot of movies and TV shows. He did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He directed the first Avengers movie. Mm-hmm. He's done some stuff. So he's not a bad director or anything like that. But according to Zack Snyder himself, because I've been watching some of his Vero videos over the last couple of months, he said that the movie that we saw, and he's never seen the movie. According to him, he's never seen the Justice League film that I'm going to get to in a minute. But the movie that we saw in November of 2017, it was only 25% of what he did. That's what he said. Yeah. Who knows if that's the truth or not? I think it probably was like a little bit more, maybe 40 to 50%. But either way, whatever Zack Snyder did for his portion of the movie, Josh Whedon came in and they basically said, hey, listen, we're going to give you like 30, 40 million in reshoots. We need you to make this movie and we're going to put it out in November. And I think right then and there, Josh Whedon had a different vision for the movie. He probably didn't even have a vision for the movie, to be honest with you. They just say, hey, let's get this guy. He's a popular person. We know who he is. Let's bring him in. Let's shoot the movie. And we had got the trailer, too. I think the funny thing about it was we got another trailer right before the movie came out. And the color palette changed.
100%.
And
for the biggest movie?
Yeah. When you see Batman riding, you see Batman riding on his, in the Batmobile. And there's a part where Aquaman jumps on him, jumps on the thing, and he says like, "Yeah," which was kind of crazy itself. Yeah. But like he says that, and like in the Zack Snyder one, it was like dark and ominous and just looked really like scary, like any of the like pretty much every scene from BVS. But then when Josh Whedon came on board, it was like all red, and I was like, hey, that's kind of that looks different. But I didn't really think about it that much. I thought maybe the color palette was already messed up, and maybe they were going for red initially. Well, according to Zack Snyder, that's not what happened. Sorry for the helicopter guys. According to Zack Snyder, that's not what happened. They just changed it. But anyways, Josh Whedon comes in, does the movie, they finish it up. We get what do you call those things? I always forget. I don't know.
Parademons?
No, not the parademons. It's like when people. They show the people. They show the. I got you. They show the movie to the people. Early showings.
Early screenings.
And it came back, and a lot of people were kind of like, I'm not feeling it. But like for me, man, I'm always like, listen, man, I'm gonna watch it anyways. I'm a diehard fan. So I had went to go watch it in 2017. I remember watching it, and I remember I had talked to, here's a funny thing. JSF watched it before I did. He watched it with a friend of ours, and I asked him how was the movie. And I remember when you told me? You were kind of like, it was good. You got to watch it yourself, but I can see that it could be a little bit better. Yeah.
So I liked it because I'm super into the comic book stuff. I'm going to like it more than the average person.
Right.
But there's some things that could have worked on, and obviously you yourself watch it because you're going to see some things. And you have your own opinions that you're going to think, I don't really like that. Yeah. Like some people are more into the cinematography and things like that aspect. I'm just like, oh wow, you guys really did this scene. That's really dope. So I'm gonna like the novelty things like that.
100%. And like for me too, it's like I always wanted to see like the Flash on a big screen. Like no. Let me be. I watched the Flash on CW, and that's I like the portrayal of him. You know, I mean the season got kind of crazy now, but like I always wanted to see my favorite heroes or my favorite superhero villains and superheroes on TV and all the big screen in the movie theaters. I always wanted to see that. So seeing Batman and Superman together when they were in BVS was great for me because I never saw it on the big screen before. We seen it in animated movies and stuff like that, but we never seen it on the big screen. So when you get a chance to see all your favorite characters on the big screen, you're gonna have a different kind of appreciation for it. So obviously, I'm not trying to bash on Joss Whedon. He did the best he could do, but I blame a lot of it on Warner Brothers trying to force out a movie that was not done. It wasn't done, and it should have never been forced out, but it did. It came out, and it was bad, and it was panned by the critics, and I watched it when I first went to the movie theater. I said it was okay, and I watched it again at home, and I'm like, this movie's not good. You can see the cuts. You can see the things they added. The Superman CGI mouth. Like, you see all the bad stuff in that movie. Anything that's kind of good in that movie, it doesn't matter because everything that's bad about it oversees it, and that's the problem. So, from the year 2017, the end of that until now, there's been many fans. I mean, people want to see the Zack Snyder cut. I think that just came up out of nowhere. I don't even know how that started. According to rumors, it said that Ben Affleck was the one that told Zack, like, hey, I know you have a cut of this film. Maybe you should try to put yours out. That's just a rumor. I don't know if it's true.
I honestly think fans just.
I think it was like a Twitter thing.
Yeah, me too. Because fans were like, Zack Snyder got taken off the movie.
We want to see it
for good reason, and then. As a fan, you start to wonder. I wonder what Zack Snyder's cut of the movie.
Yeah, I wonder what it was too.
And then more people were like, "Yo, Zack."
And then even before that, and Rashad knows this because we watched it together. Yeah. What's my guy's name? Oh, why can't I think of his name right now, man? Kevin Smith. Is it Kevin Smith?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Smith talked to
Silent Bob.
Yes, from Silent Bob. Yeah, Silent Bob from Jack. Wait, what's the name of it? Jay and Silent Bob. That's a Jack and Silent Bob. He had a chance to. Go to, I guess he talked to Zack Snyder or whatever, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, they showed him, or he talked to some fans who saw the original version. Because remember, when they were doing pre-screenings, some of the pre-screenings that they showed to some fans was the actual Zack Snyder version of the film. It just wasn't done all the way. Yeah. And that was the first time I had heard about that there was a Zack Snyder cut. So whatever I said at the beginning of the video, sorry about that. That's when I first heard about it was from Kevin Smith when he said that, this was supposed to be a whole different movie compared to what we saw in the movie theaters. And then I remember, I think it was last year at Comic-Con in 2019 or 2018, I remember being at Comic-Con and someone bought a plane and had a big hashtag release the Snyder Cut flying over like San Diego. And I'm just like,
was dope.
I'm like, all right, so what's up with the Snyder Cut?
Going crazy.
Exactly. We're all interested. We all want to know, hey, what's up? I want to know what this movie's about. So I'll say maybe a couple months now, Snyder has been going on the app Vera, which I don't really know what that is, but he goes on there and he like talks about movies and he shows movies and he talks about certain scenes in movies that he like. And people kept on asking him, what about the Snyder Cut? What about the Snyder Cut? And he would he would drop gems. Like he would be like, oh, listen, hey, look, Darkseid was going to be in the movie, but he was going to be the young Darkseid. And the scene that you saw when they were all fighting, with Zeus and all that was supposed to be Darkseid, not Steppenwolf. He was not supposed to be there. Steppenwolf was never there. It was Darkseid there, young Darkseid, and he lost. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I want to see that. And then it's like, Steppenwolf lost to Justice League, but Wonder Woman cut his head off. Like he just didn't go back in the boom to him. Wonder Woman cut his head. I'm like, wait, Wonder Woman cut people's heads off? I'm like, oh, this is going. I want to see this version of the movie, right? So, after the debacle of Justice League 2017, DC did release 2 movies that came out and they did successful. I mean, Wonder Woman came out in 2018 and did really well, and then Aquaman did $1 billion in 2018. So they did have 2 movies.
Came out as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Shazam came out in 2019, and that did great. So they had 3 movies that came out after Justice League that did pretty good, So it wasn't like Justice League ruined all the DCEU. And I know for all the people who don't care about DC movies and all the people who are haters, they're gonna say DCEU's ruined. That's how you feel. And they did come out with another movie. I keep on forgetting. They had what's the movie called? I can't think of it right now. With Joker in it.
Joker movie.
Yeah, no, not the Joker movie, but the Suicide Squad, and they had like
Birds of Prey and
something like that. Yeah, that happened, but mainly the Justice League movie itself. it was bad, but it wasn't bad enough to where we didn't have successful movies after it for DC.
Exactly. It didn't kill the.
It didn't kill the DCU.
It wasn't unfixable.
If anything, we saw our favorite characters in that Justice League movie, because my favorite characters in that movie was Wonder Woman and Aquaman. I love like out of the whole movie, those are my two favorite characters, and I was like, man, Wonder Woman's dope. I'd like to see her in a solo film, and they did a good job with that. And then we saw Aquaman, and I mean that movie was great. I've watched it many times. I got it in 4K. It's beautiful, you know. And for them to be able, shout out to James Wan on that movie because he killed it, you know. You know, so. We get that. We get the Justice League movie. We get movies after that, and you know it's kind of cold right now. Everything's kind of quiet because of the fact that what's going on with the coronavirus, and no movies are really coming out and going on. No news, no movies. Everything's shut down around the world. You can't go to movie theaters. You can't really premiere anything. But we all been hearing about this HBO Max app, and that's a new streaming service a Netflix or like a Hulu that's coming out, and basically it has a lot of Warner Brothers products and stuff of that nature. And I remember watching Internet Today with Elliot and I forgot the other guy's name right now, but he was the one saying, hey man, if HBO is smart, what they need to do when they release the HBO Max app is do Justice League. Just do it, because that's the only seller that it has, and you really can't do anything else besides that. So then all of a sudden, you know, months down, everybody can say, just release Snyder Cut, just do that, why not?
Yeah.
So you know,
actors on the movie started saying it.
Yeah, and that's what was crazy. I think Ben Affleck is during Comic-Con. Ben Affleck, when Ben Affleck tweeted, that's when I knew I was like, okay, something's up.
Yeah, something's going on here.
Because nothing against the guy who plays Cyborg, he just really wanted to be in the movie, and I understand, dude, I get it. But you tweeting ain't really gonna change anything. Gal Gadot, I love you. Wonder Woman, great. You tweeting is not gonna change anything. When Batman, aka Ben Affleck, I'm saying like that. I'm not gonna say Ben Affleck, aka Batman. He's Batman. I don't care what anybody say. When he said release the Snyder Cut, I knew something was up. And I was like, okay, this guy's saying it now. He's too high profile to say it.
Exactly.
And, you know, every other week or month would come out with Zack Snyder releasing tidbits about what this movie was supposed to be about, what this scene was going to be about, how that was supposed to happen, how Barry Allen was supposed to learn more about. And it's like, oh man, okay, I want to see your version of the movie. Is it better than the one that we got? I don't know, but I want to see your version of the movie. So just last week, he was doing I think he was doing like a watch on Man of Steel. And before that, there was rumors going around that he was gonna have some big, you know, hey, I'm basically coming out and saying I'm gonna do Justice League. I'm gonna, you know, a big announcement. And I knew it was a big announcement when I heard that Henry Cavill, I think it's Henry Cavill. Yeah, Henry Cavill was gonna be on there, and I'm like, someone's like, oh well, he's doing a watch on Man of Steel, so why wouldn't he just have the guy who plays Superman? I'm like, yeah, I know, but if you've been hearing about what's going on, we don't even know if he's gonna be Superman anymore. I mean, there's rumors of him not even being in the movies no more because he's been doing The Witcher and stuff like that. Well, he gets on there. They're watching Man of Steel, and I'm not watching it live, but I get a tweet. And it's like, they're releasing the Snyder Cut. And I was like, wait, what? I go on there, I'm like, oh wow, they're really releasing it now. This is crazy. So when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, I'm excited, I'm going crazy, I'm texting my boys, I'm like, yo, listen, they're gonna release it, yada. But then I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, they're releasing it on HBO Max next year, that's good. They're giving them 20 to 30 million to do more movies. How long have they been working on this movie, bro? I think that they've been working on this Snyder Cut. I think the Snyder Cut's been working on since 2 years ago. Honestly, I think that he's been working on it for a while,
honestly,
man.
You know what it is? And I'm not complaining about this.
Me neither.
I'm not complaining about
We're not complaining. No.
But what I think they're going to do is they're going to use the Snyder Cut tag to bring Zack Snyder back to work on it, but to just basically fix the movie.
Yeah.
Add to the movie, fix the movie, expand the universe, because they're not limited in what they need to do.
And that's one thing I like about the DC.
Like one of my biggest gripes with Justice League is it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was
really like an hour and 58 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't a second over 2 hours.
Nope.
And that lets me know that somebody was like, this movie needs to be 2 hours or less.
Yeah.
That means you guys cut the movie. So with this new Snyder Cut that they're doing, that they've been fucking working on for a while. And like, they can do whatever they want. They have the freedom to expand it. It can be 10 hours. And us as the fans, we're here for it.
Yeah, no,
actors
100%.
are coming back for it.
Yeah.
As you can see, Henry Cavill was about it.
Yep.
Like,
let me ask you a question about, like, all the actors are coming back for it. They are. How do you feel about Ezra Miller coming back? That video that happened. Of him choking the girl and slamming her.
Oh.
Now, here's my thing. I watched that video, and from my eyes, all four of them, I was like, yo, that looked like he just it looked like a movie. It didn't look like it was. It didn't look like it was an actual like real fight. But they're saying like, nah, he really choked the girl and slammed her. And one thing I noticed too, I don't think the guy who plays Ezra Miller, the guy who plays Ezra Miller himself, I don't think he has an Instagram because he wasn't tagged in the big picture they put on HBO Max and HBO, where it was like all the Justice League members and like all their pictures were tagged with their Instagram. I don't think he has an Instagram, but I did kind of feel like it was weird that like even in like the little trailer they didn't really like shout him out. So I was like, you know, maybe they're thinking like, well, they gotta bring him back. It'd be so weird. Has to be in the movie, because. But this is another thing too. If they take him out of the movie and put another person in, right? That makes me think that okay, this isn't a Snyder cut. This isn't reshoots.
It's a reshoot, yeah. It's a redo of the movie.
Redo of the whole movie.
Snyder.
Or because I think HBO came out and they said it's going to be either a 4-hour movie or 6 episodes. They don't know what they want to do right now. A lot of people are leaning towards 6 episodes to be better that way. Yeah. And if you're HBO Max, you're like, listen, we want these people to stay longer than for like 4 hours. Yeah. We want them to stay for a month. They gotta pay. They gotta at least pay for 2 months. Let's get our subscribe numbers up for those 2 months while they're here, and then they can go. Right. But if they're gonna do 6 episodes, let's say they do 6 episodes, and each episode's an hour and a half to almost 2 hours. That's a lot of movie. Yeah. So that makes me think that we're not just going to get the regular Justice League movie. We might be getting all 3 of the movies he wanted to put out.
That's another thing that I've heard too.
That's what I'm thinking.
The initial idea was the 3 movies.
Just do it.
But there's a lot of ideas that they have. Right. And I think now the beauty of this is they can do all those ideas. Like 100%. There was an idea of having Green Lantern and come through in the movie.
Yes.
Like the scene
at the end.
The scene with Superman where he comes in and Alfred's like, it's about time. Yeah. That got cut out of the movie. Yeah. That was obviously shot. But apparently in the initial drafts, that was supposed to be like when a Green Lantern shows up.
Yeah, that was an original graph.
Original early draft. Yeah. But that's just one example. Like
They ended up using him in the end of the movie. According to Zack Snyder's cut, he's going to come in while Batman is sleeping in the yeah. Which like I like that better anyway. That's a better idea. Yeah.
But it's the same with like just a lot of the backstory stuff, like more Darkseid actually showing up in the movie.
Yeah, seeing him
instead of Steppenwolf just being a weird, creepy dude.
That wasn't even, and I heard like that. I heard that CGI. That wasn't even how Steppenwolf was supposed to look like. No. He was supposed to look like more at the end of BVS when Lex Luthor had all the boxes, and he was
and you see
he's supposed to look like him.
Look like that,
and it didn't look nothing like him. I would love to get more backstory on their version of Barry Allen. That would have been cool, because him saying he just pushed the people and run away, but then he was talking about the Speed Force. I'm like, so you haven't fought any villains yet in your own world? Like, that makes no sense to me. How can you talk about the Speed Force and running really fast, but I never fought nobody, I only push people and run away? I'm like, no, you got to know something about the Speed Force. You got to be in some kind of battle. Like, this, but that might be their version of it. Obviously, the backstory of Cyborg would be great, too. We know he's a football player.
The Flash character has a lot of... he's kind of a key to this whole thing.
He is the key,
right?
In a way,
because the Flash is like the key to the multiverse. Yep. That's like how DC Comics is gone.
Yep.
The Flash is the first one to introduce the multiverse. Mm-hmm. He's the one that can change the universe depending on what he does. So I think he's a key character in the way they play him in this. Right. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But like, is he like a Flash who just got his powers last week? Like in BVS, was that a month before Justice League?
Yeah, we don't know.
Or is it in between the BVS and the Snyder Cut? Mm-hmm. Is it a couple years and he's ran into some of these bad guys before? Has he ran into Reverse Flash? Captain
he hasn't. I know he hasn't.
You know what I mean?
Because if he did, he wouldn't say he just pushed people and run away.
That's true.
So my main thing is like I think that like they're basing it off. He's just still new to his powers to a certain extent. I would say, but. We don't know because we didn't get that backstory. We didn't get a chance to see what Snyder was going to talk to him about when it came talk about that character. Same thing with Cyborg. I know like the basic backstory of Cyborg. I watch Teen Titans, so like I know what his backstory is. But and same thing with Aquaman. Like it would make more sense now. Like if you watch Aquaman, like, let's say Zack Snyder's cut, the Snyder Cut comes out, and it's everything that led up to Aquaman's movie because. Everything about Aquaman's movie, I'm like, oh, there's some things that they could have did in, the Justice League movie that could have set up that movie. But luckily, the movie was good on its own, and Jason Momoa was such a good seller. He sold that movie like it was the last thing in the world, and it did $1 billion. So that's good for them. But the thing about the thing about DC and the thing about Warner Brothers in general, and I give them credit for this, that they're more freely with their with their product when it comes to DC. You know, we have the animated universe. We have the Arrowverse on TV. We have the DCEU. But now we're going to have another DC universe in movie with the other Batman movie. That might not even be a part of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're making it seem like it's not a part of it, which I'm kind of like, I guess. But, you know, which would have been cool. Look, if Matt Reeves was cool, and I'm just throwing this out there, it would have been cool if, like, at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, Batman's like, yo, this is my new protege type shit. And instead of, like, you know, Pattinson being Batman, he could have been, what's my boy name? Robin or some shit like that. Nightwing, something like that, because Pattinson's not Batman. I'm sorry, man. He got the look, I get it, but he's not Bruce. He might look like Bruce, but he ain't Batman. I'm sorry.
You know what's really interesting, like what you just said about the other Batman movie coming out and all that, and what I said about the Flash being the key to this. It's like you said, the Flash is on TV, right? We had the Arrowverse, and we had the movie Flash
in the Arrowverse. So
now, do you know why that's super important?
Why
because what if the movie Flash shows up in the Robert Pattinson Batman movie?
Yes,
and then it's like, wait.
So you just crossed it,
you were here. What's really going on?
It's crazy,
and it sets up the multiverse in an interesting.
And I was so happy to see that
100%.
that scene on TV because and the fact that Grant Gustin and Ezra Miller kept it quiet from everybody. Like I heard that nobody knew about it. Like not even Stephen Amell. He was like,
we
wait,
were like hoping
we got two Flashes on the same show.
Yeah,
one from the movies and one from the TV show. And then then
they shot it like it was a movie. Like,
that sets up Grant Gustin's Flash going into his movie. It could happen too. Hell, we don't know. Maybe Zack calls Grant like, yo, listen, I might need you to come into, we might need you to come into the DCEU. And then, because one thing that I always, and this is getting a little bit off topic with the Zack Snyder cut, is in the DCEU, not DCEU, but the Arrowverse now. I mean, I don't watch Batwoman that much, but I know at the end of Batwoman, a spoiler alert if anybody haven't watched it, they got Batman now. Like there's a guy who looks like Bruce Wayne. Like, I guess they put it on his face, and he looks just like Bruce Wayne. He's going to become Batman. Really? And I'm like, dude, we never got to see Oliver Queen and Batman in the same room together. Like, I mean, it would have been cool, even though Arrow's version of... Well, the CW's version of Arrow is kind of like Batman, basically. I mean, like, he is Bruce Wayne.
They set him up to be Batman.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because they never thought they were going to ever get Batman.
Yeah, they never thought it would go that far.
Until, like, season 5 when, like, Oliver Queen was like, oh, I'm not Bruce Wayne. I'm like, oh, they're doing that.
Yeah, until they finally name dropped Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. And then, of course, Supergirl comes out. They get Superman. Now they got Superman and Lois coming out because the guy's putting Superman on there. He's pretty good. And it's like, I like that DC's letting anybody do what they want to do with their characters. Unlike MCU, which is like, hey, listen, we're in one universe, and I get it, I understand that. It makes it's easier for people like who want to simplify everything. Like, okay, I really don't know why there's 5 different Batmans. Like, it's easier that way. But he was supposed to be. I'll put that on the screen later, guys. It was a picture send that to me if you don't mind. Like it's one of those things where it's like DC has so much they can do with their characters, and they have so many people's visions about it, and the fact that we're gonna get the Snyder Cut next year. I'm super hyped about. Like I'm looking forward to it. I just recently watched Justice League again to I need
to do that too.
It's so bad, bro. It's so bad. It's so bad, man.
Yeah, but I'm gonna love certain parts.
Oh no, of course, man. I still laugh at the part when they're inside the hangar when like Batman is going at Wonder Woman and saying like you mean like Steve Trevor when he died and like she pushed up and Flash was like if she kill you we ain't gonna say anything. That part was hilarious and whatnot, but
it down.
Basically, to end this video, my thoughts on it is that I'm hyped about it. I'm hyped that Zack Snyder's making his cut. I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for him because I know that this is his work, man. He basically it started from Man of Steel to BVS to now, and I know that he wanted his vision to be seen, and I'm happy that he was able to come back and or is able to come back and show what he wanted to put out there in Justice League. And I'm happy that everybody else is coming back too. Like, I would have never thought that we were going to get Ben Affleck back. He might get everybody else. Ben Affleck might be a little hard about it, but from what we heard, Ben Affleck was the one that was saying, yo, put your vision
Jordan
out.
Was Superman.
Yeah. I mean, he's supposed to be Scarface too now. It's crazy. Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast, man. But I'm looking forward to the movie. I don't know. We don't have a date on it. We know it's 2021. I'm guessing probably around this time, 2021, maybe even later. I hope everybody comes back. I hope the movie's good. And personally, for me, if I had to pick, and this ended to ask you this question, if I had to pick between a movie or a TV show version of it, just give me the 6 episodes.
Thank you.
Because that means you can do more. You can do more. You can prolong a lot of things. And just for the reason, just to be out there with with HBO and have them have a chance to go out there and say, listen, we want people to subscribe to us, HBO Max. We want people to watch this, and that's a good seller, man. Because that's the only. To me, I don't care what anybody says. That's the biggest thing that's going to happen next year, movie-wise, that's going to come out, is that we get to watch Justice League, movie or TV show, whatever it is, with the same characters from Zack Snyder's universe on HBO Max.
Yeah,
and we ain't got to, at home in our own company.
like,
Come on, man.
It's this year, yeah.
Marvel can't do nothing with that. Only thing they can do, I mean, they can put out their shows they're supposed to put out still, but even those shows are like smaller characters. Yeah. Like, we're talking about Batman and Superman.
They don't have any characters the size of Batman.
The only movie they got coming
Wonder
out.
Woman,
come on. They ain't got the main. It's not like they got like an Iron Man TV show coming out or something like that. No.
And I guarantee they're gonna throw another character in there that we don't expect. They might throw Shazam in there.
Yeah.
They're gonna do some shit we don't expect. They can't just do what we think they're gonna do.
I think personally, Jerron, and I'm sorry, JSF. I think personally, man, we're gonna get at least 2 movies in one. I think we are going to get a Snyder Cut version of the Justice League that came out in movie theaters in 2017. But I also think that we're going to, like, hey, listen, we're going to give you, they said 20, 30 million. They might give him 50 million. We're going to give you 50 million. Do your story arc. And if you want to add more people into it, that's cool. Because Henry Cavill, whatever his name is, Henry Cavill, I never can say his name right. Supposedly he's in negotiations right now to be Superman still.
Yeah.
So we're still going to have Henry Cavill as Superman. So I'm like, okay, well then, let's just do it. Let's just go balls to the wall and go out 100%. There, man. That's what I would do.
You know what I think it's gonna be? It's gonna be like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes.
On steroids.
Yes.
It's gonna be like the movie version.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be like the movie version. Yo, you know how we saw shit we didn't expect in that?
You know what would be crazy?
I'm just saying.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm just saying.
But it could happen. At the end of Arrow, the character John Diggle.
Don't do it.
Got the Green Lantern. Yeah, he got the Green Lantern. He got the Green Lantern rock.
Don't give my hopes up.
He got the Green Lantern rock.
He got the ring.
And supposedly Jeff Johns is doing something with HBO with the Green Lantern series. If they put Diggle,
the same actor, David Ramsey,
John Diggle as the Green Lantern.
His name canonically is John Stewart, by the way.
Exactly.
His name is John Diggle, but his stepdad's Stewart, so he's John Stewart.
Come on, man.
Hey,
listen. Shout out to the Arrowverse. Who would if that happens? I'll be like, yo,
I think we would all be
Arrow
happy.
Started it all, baby. I'll be happy to see the TV shows connect with the big screen, just like the big screen connect with the TV shows. But yeah, man. But to get on out of here, we both. Oh yeah, but before we leave, you want a movie or do you want the TV show? You want the 6 episodes? Or you want the 4 hours?
I want the 6 episodes.
Rashad, what do you want?
If they're at least an hour.
Show.
You want the show? Okay. I think the show is better. You get
more content.
I mean, I'm into more content. You know, I don't want to watch a 4-hour movie anyways.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not gonna be. I mean, it might be in theaters, but it's
if
gonna be
they do
HBO Max
if they do a movie, I can see them.
I
I can see them probably doing HBO Max and kind of like what they did with The Irishman, where they put it on Netflix the first week or two, and then they put it in the movie theaters. Yeah,
some shit like that.
But the way the pandemic is going right now, movie theaters is going to be almost obsolete coming in like maybe next year or two.
Exactly.
I mean, it's still going to have movie theaters drive-ins,
but it won't be like Give me 6 1
Give me something
episodes,
at my house that I can chill and watch.
And I don't mean 40 minutes. I mean 1 whole hour.
Yeah, man. But yeah, you know, guys, that was our conversation and our feelings about Justice League, the Snyder Cut. I've been Dwayne Nix. This has been JSF. My boy Rashad in the back. We guys, hopefully when it does come out, you guys enjoy it. And if you guys don't enjoy it, you know, let me know in the comment box. Like, subscribe to my channel. It's a DK Fix. And also my boy's channel, JSF. Go to JSF. Search that in the YouTube search. He talks about Mortal Kombat a lot, and that's what we talk about. He's a fighting game dude. Yeah, he's a fighting game. NRG, yes. That's coming up soon. NRG. If you guys don't know about that, we'll let you know at a different time. But yeah, man, it's been great talking to you guys. I'm happy to be back. And have
a good Memorial.
Yes, have a good Memorial weekend. It is Memorial weekend. I'm not going to put this out like today, but we don't know whenever this podcast does come out, it'll be the Memorial Day weekend, but it won't be that day. It'll be some other day I'll put it out. But I hope you guys have a good rest of the year. Hopefully, you know, this pandemic goes away. And look out for more content from me. I haven't really been watching that much wrestling off and on. I should have did the WrestleMania review. I might still do it. Who doesn't know, man? But anyways, man, peace. We love you guys. Take care. Be safe. Wash your hands. Wash your ass. All right, man. Let's go, dog.